Have you guys ever wondered why things seems to bounce back to their central position? And I was working on some strategies, and I came across the fact that most of the strategies use this mean reversion concept in their strategies, and what exactly it is. So I'm going to break it down by using by giving you two perspectives, and I first um, explain it through a pendulum analogy. So it moves back and forth, right? Uh, and eventually it comes back to its mean position, which is its center. And this is because there exists a natural pull that brings it back to its central position. And these variations are because of and these like variation, the movement towards back and forth is because of the random variation that happened to the pendulum. And these, it's not our concern like in what setting these variations has happened, but eventually it comes back to its mean position, right? And the greater the variation, the greater the pull, and the pull which brings it back to the mean position, right? And from a statistical point of view, from a statistical or mathematical perspective, which is basically relevant to the strategies which are being used in the quantitative trading or research. Um, let's So suppose there are data points and their fluctuations, and these fluctuations are again random fluctuations, are always tend to come back or to revert towards their mean, right? Because these fluctuations are already are around certain mean. And for example, let's take an example of flipping a coin. You flip a coin like many times, 100,000 times, right? And in during the flips, you observe a streak of happening heads in a row, maybe 10 times or 15 times. But in longer run, when you aggregate all of those flips, the proportion of heads to tails will approach 50%. So that means in the longer, although in the shorter run, there was a random variation, there was a bias towards heads. But eventually, in the longer run, when we approach the results, when we aggregate the whole experiment, it's going to revert towards its mean, like 50-50, right? In case of Faircoin, right? So again, in the financial markets, the asset prices are going to are tended towards their mean prices, whatever it is. So the profit, so strategies, like usually we tend to capture these variations which are like usually for very short time. So whenever we come up with a strategy, or like we would, of course we tend to make some profits when we are trading. So these short time, short periods of time where we saw the streaks, or like streaks of one event happening again and again. So this is really important to understand, and especially the mean reversion concept. And already in most of the literature that exist on the strategies, they are based on the mean reversion. They are working on the mean reversion. So even if you take the example of Renaissance technologies and all other famous firms, you will see that the benchmark is the mean reversion, right? So that's the idea of the mean reversion. Thank you.